Namaste. Welcome to the beginning of another live Sangha. I'm grateful to be able to be here today, and I trust that you are feeling as well as you can be, regardless of what circumstances you might be dealing with in life at this time. Remember that if there are any difficulties, that this too shall pass, and that you are feeling exactly what you are allowed to feel at this time, being a valid expression of what you're going through, both inside and out. I hope to be your humble host, and if I'm not, you can hold me accountable to that. I'm looking at my cat Shadow, who doesn't know what he wants. He yearns for something. We all do, I suppose. Today is a special day. Today is the pink moon. Today is also Hanuman Jayanti, the birthday of the monkey god, the devotee of Rama. Our first guests are joining now. Hello, dear Pegasus, and thank you for your rose. Jaya Hanuman, dear Lilimor, thank you for your heart me as well. Jaya Shri Rama, and dear Kali, thank you for your heart me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome, dearest G and Kai Dot. Welcome, dear Ranjit. Hello, dear Michelle. Nice to have you here. I'd love to begin with an intention for the space as being a welcoming environment, open to everyone, regardless of background, identity, orientation, belief system, ethnicity, etc. May we come together as fellow students of life to uplift each other, relate in one another's experiences, and share positive sentiments. Well, thanks for stopping by, dear Pegasus. Have a good night. Yeah. Oh, I know what Shadow wants. He wants my sister, Nora, who went out with her boyfriend that he doesn't like very much. Oh, she'll be okay. She'll come back soon. Yeah. I'll just let him out of my room. I'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome, dear Lucy. Hello, dear Raven. And thank you for the likes. Thank you, Lucy, for your rose too. Radhe, Radhe. I'd also love to begin by setting, well, we already set the intention, but doing an invocation of the Shanti Mantra from the Taittiriya and Katha Upanishad. And in the ancient Sanskrit text, it goes something like this. Aum Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryang Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Aum Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hare Om Tat Sat. Om. May the divine nourish us both together. May the divine protect us both together. May we work conjointly with great ease, and may our studies be vigorous and effective, and may we not mutually dispute or hate any. Om. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. I'm glad you like the music, dear Ranjit. Today we're listening to the Hanuman Chalisa instrumental, because it's his birthday today. Thank you, dear Raven, for your trio of roses. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. And dear Nish, thank you for your rose and heart name. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Medham Prajñam Prayacha Swaha. Thank you, dear Oren, for your heart me too. Hare Krishna. And dear Nikki, thank you for your heart me and rose. Om Namah Shivaya. How am I feeling this full moon? Asked Koli. I'm feeling very peaceful. Yes, very calm. Happy to celebrate the birth anniversary of Hanuman today. Since in the lunar calendar he was born on the first full moon of the first lunar month, Chaitrapurnima. It's wonderful. It's also the pink moon. Pink moon, she is full and she is distant. Farthest full moon from Earth. That means that the feminine, which is what the moon represents and embodies, she is shining brighter than ever tonight, but she needs her space. So we'll give her that. Thank you for your love from Sweden, dear Adam. Dear Riri, you came across a Rudraksha bracelet. They are the best to fidget with. There's so much detail, right? I just love them. I actually made one last night since I had some loose ones. So I put them in the bracelet together. And I love the feeling of Rudraksha seeds. Yeah, so much detail indeed. Hello, dear Craig. Dear Cece, you shared that your cat is not feeling so well. And you can't afford the vet at the moment. Perhaps someone likes to donate. Of course. In fact, let me do so right now for you. Can I copy that link that you sent for your PayPal? Yes. When there is a cat in need, I know what my responsibility is. What would we do in this world without our furry feline friends? This is for friends and family. There you are. I sent you something, dear Cece, for the kitty. I also will add your kitty to my prayers. Om Ram Rlam Ashwini Bhyam Namah. I call upon the two divine horse physicians, the Ashwini. May they grant their healing grace to your wonderful kitty. Hello, dear Sarah. Still poorly today? That's okay. You struggle with how your body turns against you. I would turn that around, what you said there. Your body's not turning against you. It needs you right now. It's trying to ask you for some help. There's something that it's not getting that you can give it. Your body is your recipient of love, and you as a source of love. You have a lot of love to give that body, so take care of it. Your body is not your enemy, but it will definitely treat you as one if you treat it as one. You treat it as a friend, it'll treat you as a friend too. It mirrors that. Hello, dear Anne. Dear Cal, you ask, what do I do for work? I don't do anything for work. I just try to wake up and be kind, and whatever I get in return from that, without any expectations, from the goodwill of the people in my life, I am able to live a happy and successful life in terms of being able to cover all of my needs. And what a blessing that is. I'd love for all of us to be able to live that way. Much love to you, dear Adam. Much love to you and your cat, dear Cece. And what is your kitty's name? And thank you, G, for pinning that. Those who will help Cece's kitty will certainly have a special place in my heart. Even if it's just thoughts and prayers. And thank you, Mr. No One, for your pair of jester cats and Rose. Ham Jums Triyambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityur Mukshya Mamritat. Thank you for listening, dear Sarah. Nice to see you, Mr. No One. Can I please talk more about Hanuman at some point today? Of course, I have to. It's his birthday. Yeah. Thank you, dear Katie, for your finger heart. Om Gang Ganapataye Namah. And Mr. No One, thank you for the fortune kitty. Om Bhurm Bhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. I am thriving today. Thank you for asking, dear Freya. Dear Infinite Sunrise, you shared also Theravada celebration in Thailand. I love that. That's great. Your kitty's name is Banana. I like that. I offered a banana to Hanuman today. So, and we also offer our prayers to the wonderful banana. Thank you, dear Jen, for the heart me you sent. Om Dum Durgaya Namaha. She certainly does deserve the care she needs. Alright, time for me to tell you what's on the agenda for today. For Shravana, still no show and tell. Nobody has submitted any in a while, but that's okay. The submission form is still there if ever you wish to submit a poem, or something you learned recently, or a piece of art that you made, or a song, or a creative project of any kind. It doesn't have to be your standard of good, nor does it even have to be finished. I'd love to have a place in these songs to share something from all of you. If you want, of course. No expectations. But we will continue reading from the Radiant Sutras, the 112 Gateways to the Yoga of Wonder and Delight, a modern translation and interpretation of the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. We'll go through some of the yuktis today. And that'll be it for Shravana. Although at some point I'm sure I'll tell you the story of how Hanuman got his name, and how he revealed Surya Namaskara, sun salutations, for all of us to practice. And we could talk about some of the things to do on Hanuman's birthday on this full moon night. For Manana, we'll have Q&A as always, and a question of the day. Today's question of the day concerns subtle things, the concept of subtlety, assuming that's the noun form of the adjective. Then we'll have an intermission of some poetry reading by the Sufi saint Rumi, and then we'll end with a mantra meditation for Hanuman. It's a wonderful sounding mantra. It's got a bunch of bijas, the sacred syllables in it. That'll be nice to listen to and chant together. So if any of that sounds enticing to you, I hope you stick around and Happy to have you here. Hello, dear Ninmax. Am I Hindu? Asks Tired Tortoise. You thought I was Buddhist? I am happy to enjoy the beauty of all traditions equally, and I don't consider myself to be of any particular one. And what's show and tell, dear Freya? Show and tell is show and tell. You get to show and tell about something. That's a time that I offer you in these sanghas. If you ever want to take advantage of that, through the link tree in the bio, there's a submission form, which means that you can upload images or files, audio files, PDFs, or just write something, and then I will showcase that as a collection of our sangha's talent and interests, and as a offer back to you for all the wonderful things that you allow me to share with you. I want you to share things with me too, and for the whole sangha to enjoy together. Sarah, you share your dog's name is food related too. Treacle? What's treacle? Is it a portmanteau of treat and something else? Treacle? That's very interesting. Thank you, I am Princess Mom, for your trio of finger hearts. Om Kring Kalikaye Namaha. Hello, dear Life of Brian. Welcome, little Hala. Hello, Shurihasya Chitrakara. You've got a snowy, rainy spring day for you over there? Well, I'm happy to brighten that. We've got a little bit of a cloudy and sunny day today, it seems. I laid in some flowers in the grass today and soaked up some sun rays. My goodness. Yeah, I think you might have gone through daylight savings, dear Mr. Noah. Nice to see you, dear Chris. Treacle is a form of toffee. Ah, I see. I like that. Sweet. 92 degrees there in Vegas. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but I remember an American told me once that you can think of Fahrenheit as a percentage of how hot it is. So it's 92% hot. So it's pretty hot there. Thank you, Tan Hao Yu, for your heartmate. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi. Oh, I mixed up my Gayatri mantras. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodaya. And Lilimor, thank you for your team cheers. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah. And thank you for adding to the sanctity of this space. Dear I am Princess Mom. That's a good question, Mary. How do you light coal discs? They won't catch. I'm sure coal burns very hot, so you might need to light something else and then use that to light the coal disc. But I've never heard of a coal disc. I've heard of coal and I've heard of discs. So I imagine that it's coal in the shape of a disc. Michelle, you share it was 20 degrees Celsius and oh my goodness. In Schlosstemnitz today. Schlosstemnitz today. Some German place. A German place name. Wow, I think I manifested a genie with that name. Oh, I'm glad you find this relaxing, dear Val. Welcome. Thank you for helping, very dear Raven. You put loose incense on them to burn it over sticks. That's fascinating. I gotta get some of that. Loose incense? That sounds like a way of getting incense in bulk rather than buying a bunch of sticks. Yeah. You've taught me of the existence of something else. Thank you. I'll have to look into that. It was reasonably warm there today, dear Freya, in England. 18 degrees. That's nice. I love the singing bets. Thank you, dear Banjo, for your heart beam. Om Kamalyar Mahakalikaye Namah. Welcome, dear Zara. You ask, do I have any hobbies? What hobbies don't I have? That's the question. Hand-rolled incense is the best. I agree, dear Taylor. Alright, time to get tantric. Let's continue reading from this modern translation and commentary of the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. This conversation between the divine masculine as Bhairava and the divine feminine as Devi. So, today we continue reading through the Yuktis, the 112 gateways to the yoga of wonder and delight. Specifically, the 5th Yukti onwards, we'll see how many, just a couple. As always, each one of these can be a meditation practice that can fulfill you for life. So, we'll go slowly through them. This is the 28th verse of the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Amulat kirana bhasam sukshmat sukshmataratmikam Chintayetam dvishat kante shyam yantim bhairavodaya. Follow the path of the life force as she flashes upward like lightning through your body. Attend simultaneously to the perineum, that bright place between the legs, to the crown of the skull, and to that shining star place above the head. Notice this living current becoming ever more subtle as she rises, radiant as the morning sun, until she streams outward from the top of the head into all-embracing gratitude. Thus become intimate with the life of all beings. That's the 5th yukti that Bhairava shares. The word of the verse is sukshma. Sukshma, meaning subtle, minute, small, fine, thin, narrow, short, feeble, trifling, insignificant, unimportant, acute, subtle, keen understanding, nice, atomic, intangible, intangible matter, the subtle, all-pervading spirit, the supreme soul, marrow, or woven silk. All of these imagery and definitions come to mind in the Sanskrit word sukshma. The practice? Sukshma has a range of meanings, including insignificant, unimportant. This is a teaching. What you are looking for is right here, but it looks insignificant to you. The gateways that open to your inner life are here, in minute perceptions easily overlooked. The inspiration and energy you need for your meditation practice is already present. Tune into the subtle aspects of your sensory experience that are so tiny they seem intangible and atomic. Be alert for that which is as fine as woven silk. You can think of sukshma a subtle sensuous experience. You walk outside on a beautiful day, and feel a tingle of sexual electricity just because you are alive. It lasts a second and then disperses throughout your whole body, but your next breath is a bit more enjoyable and colors seem brighter. There is a microscopic level of sexual excitement flowing around your skin. That is subtle sensuality. Or say you are listening to music. At a certain moment, one of the players touches a string lightly, and the quiet sound moves you deeply. The music doesn't have to get louder for you to feel its power. That is subtle sound. Or consider a moment when you are loving someone, and the lightest touch means everything. A delicate and slow touch can feel more intense than big motions. That is subtle touch. Subtle sensing is fun and freeing. You take more and more pleasure from less and less input. In this yukti, you are invited to take pleasure in subtle electrical sensations flashing through your body, from the mula, the root of your spine, through the sexual centers into the belly, heart, throat, and head. The verse reinforces the notion of subtle and minute with the word kirana, meaning dust, very minute dust, and beam of light like the rays of the sun or moonbeam. We sense the energy of life sparkling like dust motes, drifting slowly in a beam of afternoon sun. Sukshma. What a great first yukti of our reading today. Following the path of the life force as it travels through sukshma, subtle pathways into each and every little nook and cranny, from the base of your spine all the way to the top and beyond. Let's read the 6th yukti, next one, which is the 29th verse. Udgachatim tadit rupam pratichakrang kramat kramam urdhvam mushtitrayam yavat tavat ante mahodayam. Trace the river of life that flows through you, the luxuriously rising energies, gradually touching each of those centers along the spine. Savor every shimmer of color along the way. Enter each area tenderly, loving as you go, finally, gently, dissolving in the crown of the head, then above, in the space above the head, the great dawn. The word is krama. Krama, progressing step by step, succession, order, uninterrupted or regular process, sequence, the position taken by animals before springing or attacking, method, attainment of the object desired. The practice? Sometimes, when you are making love or meditating, the energy of delight will slowly build and flow through each area of the body, touching everywhere, tickling and massaging. Here the use of the word krama alerts us to notice both the progression of energy, movement, and the sense of it being poised to spring. Watch cats creeping up on something, step by step, and then crouching to spring. Observe this progression in your mind and body. A series of thoughts will lead up to something, and then suddenly a realization will spring into your perception. In sex, the energy builds up and then suddenly gushes. Whenever there is energy, there is the play of tension and release. In Tantra, we are stretching our capacity to pay attention. In music, tension builds and then is released. In physics, tension pertains to stretching. In electricity, tension indicates voltage. The higher the tension, the higher the voltage. In sex and meditation, energy sensations may intensify in one area of the body until we feel we can't take it anymore, then release and stream to the next area, or dissolve in orgasm. We each have our own individual preferences in terms of sequence, which may vary from day to day. Krama suggests both inevitability and surprise. Attention is more engaged when we have the sense that we are going to get release, yet don't know when. In your body, you may have noticed, there are areas of more energetic intensity, such as the perineum, sexual organs, lower belly, solar plexus, heart, throat, forehead, top of the skull. In the physical body, there are nerve plexuses corresponding to these interesting places. In the subtle body, the body made of prana, these networks are sometimes called chakras. The word chakra means wheel, a potter's wheel, an astronomical circle, a cycle of years or seasons, a whirlpool. Your physical body is the center of a galaxy of subtle magnetism. Find the sequences that work for you. Don't impose anyone else's system of body energy onto yourself. Explore and make your own map. The chakras evolve through being employed appropriately. For example, your heart chakra develops by loving people, not by being forced to open. You will learn about your own internal sequencing through love and meditation. One of the amazing gifts of a healthy meditation practice is the ability to relax deeply into the ever-changing, unpredictable, always surprising, ecstatic flow of the life force. I like that. A yukti around rising tension and release, both anticipation and surprise. Why don't we read just one more yukti? The 7th yukti, which is the 30th verse of the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Krama dvadashakam samyak dvadashakshara bheditam stula sukshma parashtitya Muktvā muktvantatah shiva. Let your attention glide through the centers of awareness along the spine with adoring intent. There is a song to each area of the body, resonating in sweet vortices, long rhythmic vowels and hums, ah and e, om, hum, resounding on and on. Find the harmonies emanating from the circulation of life energies. Listen to these as sounds, then more subtly as an underlying hum. Eventually, as the most subtle feeling, then diving more deeply, dissolve into freedom. The word of the verse is Muktvā, M-U-K-T-V-A, long A, Muktvā. It means loosened up, freed, let go, having liberated oneself, having attained final emancipation, having put aside, accepting, accept, save. The practice? Muktvā is the energy of liberation. I want to be free. I want room to live. I want to express all the life that is in me. This urge is a primordial force, one of the strongest impulses in a human being. If you want to thrive in yoga, connect with this unstoppable force in yourself, and let meditation be a space to let your energy run wild. Each area of your body, each vibrating wheel of delicious energy may have its own idea of freedom. Your sexual center may want a certain kind of contact. Your solar plexus may want to feel powerful. Your heart may ache to flow freely in love, and your head is concerned with its own agenda. One of the keys to a healthy meditation practice is to give yourself permission to feel all of who you are. Cherish all your instincts and emotions. As you introduce the feeling of Muktvā into your meditation, all your energy centers may start talking with each other about what they want, giving you fantasies and sensations. This is good. Enjoy the show and practice the skills of conversation. Let everyone talk and listen to each other. Consider meditation a safe place to be in conversation with your radical impulses toward freedom, whatever they are. When you accept a wild impulse of freedom and let it permeate your body with energy, attention gets attracted towards sukshma, the subtle dimensions of your life force, and a vibrant serenity emerges. Another key to freedom is to let meditation be a safe place to explore, where any and all feelings are allowed. You can let any thought or emotion come without editing it or controlling it. You don't care what thoughts come and go, and you don't try to remember them. All you need to do is make a simple decision. I won't act on any thought or emotion that comes during meditation. You give freedom to meditation by letting it be its own separate state of awareness, in which the body-mind system can explore new patterns of connectedness. Then, after meditation, with a clearer mind, you can make time for decisions. Another great trio of meditation practices. I very much enjoyed those three. I hope you did too, and maybe you can find time to practice any of them. Again, the words are sukshma, subtle. Flow with the breath and let it fill all the subtle parts of your being, especially along the spine. Krama, progressing step by step, that methodical build-up. And Muktvā, being freed and let go, that yearning to dissolve into freedom. Thank you very much for listening. I look forward to continuing reading the Radiant Sutras with you. And as always, if that brought up any insights, reflections, curiosities, you are always welcome to share them. That concludes our Shravana section of our Sangha, dedicated to listening. And I'm glad I had the chance to listen with you. Now we can transition to Manana, the section of our Sangha dedicated to interacting, processing our experiences, and we can explore whatever's in our hearts and minds. And I welcome everyone that joined while we were reading. And thank you, Raven, for the 22 roses you sent whilst we read. Bharam Bhairavaya Namo Namaha. you are confused, or I am Princess Mom, you were just on a lecture by Nish. Oh, I love Nish. And the version you studied spoke of renunciation. There's both. The wonderful path that is explored in the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra is both the path of intimacy and renunciation. In fact, you can even have both renunciation and intimacy, depending on what you renounce and what you allow yourself to have close contact with. Or you can specialize in any of them one-pointedly. The path of sannyasis and the path of grihasis are equally potent, and neither are more better or preferred. For most people, the path of grihasi is recommended, being a householder, having intimate relationships. But for the select few that wish to yearn for a monastic life, to go outside of conventional norms and become a sadhu, become a wandering nomad, and dedicate your life completely to the intimacy of the divine, that's also a completely valid path that some may take as well. Thank you, dear Lone Wolf, for your quintet of finger hearts and your tiny yippee. Nish is a householder, by the way, too. He has a beautiful partner. They are both very beautiful and happily together. And thank you, dear Raven, for your beating heart. Kali Mahakali Kalike Parameshwari Sarvananda Kare Devi Narayani Namostute. I love that, Ruri. You can renounce and be intimate with everything, as contradictions don't exist. It's a self-limiting perception. Very true. We are touching upon a topic known as brahmacharya, which is often mistranslated to mean something like celibacy. But truly, householders and lovers can practice brahmacharya. So what does the word truly mean, if it doesn't mean absolute restraint of your intimacy with another being? It comes from the root brha, meaning to expand. The first word is Brahman, meaning the all-expansive one. And charya means the path, the way of. I believe coming from the root chur, which means to follow or to be impelled by. So brahmacharya literally means the way to the all-expansive one, the path leading you to expand in all dimensions. What that has to do with intimacy, especially sexuality, is that you don't limit yourself by that. That you know there's so much more to life and connections than the simple physical act of being together. There are many ways of expanding in life. You can expand into those intimate dimensions, but there are also other dimensions to hold space for as well. Thank you, dear Vibers. I'm happy that explanation resonated with you, dear I Am Princess Mom. Nice to have you here, dear Katie. And Lone Wolf. Hare Krishna, dear Kundrix. Hello, dear Jen Garden. Vicky, you had asked how to get over a breakup. You never truly get over anything in life. You can be 90 years old and still feeling a little sad about your middle school crush that you never got to be with. And that's the beauty of life, is because once you love for life. But that doesn't mean that love has to be exclusive. You will find love again, and it doesn't replace the love you've had up to that point. It adds to it. So I would say to you, don't try to get over someone. Validate the relationship you had. Affirm that it was meant to be for the duration that it was, and keep your heart open for the next adventure. But in the interim, while you're grieving, which is something to grieve over, you bring that love to yourself. This is an opportunity to discover independence in many ways. Let yourself be free. Enjoy the sanctity of your own relationship with yourself at this moment. Dear I Am Princess Mom, thank you for your flowers. Sarva Pushpebhyah. Pardon my hiccup. Hello, Medic Man. Dear Jen Carden, you shared that your Kundalini is stuck in your root, up through the back, but does not go through the head chakra. Tips? Let's break down what exactly is Kundalini. It comes from the root, or the stem, kunda, which means basin or pot. Kunda is a place that holds things when you're not using them. That suffix, lini, makes it into a feminine energy. So Kundalini is the feminine energy of the pot. What does the pot represent? It represents our subconscious. So a Kundalini is all of our dormant feminine energies and qualities. What do we mean by dormant? We mean that has been repressed. What dormant feminine qualities in you have been repressed? If you can find a way to express that, then your Kundalini will rise. Each chakra has an association. For example, you said that it does not go through the head. It gets up through your back, but not the head. Sounds like there's a bottleneck. Literally. Your throat chakra. What does your throat represent when it comes to your feminine energies? It represents your voice, your ability to speak your mind clearly, to say things how they are, to express how you feel. So if your voice has been repressed, well, no wonder that energy is getting stuck there. So be honest with the world. Share how you're feeling. Don't hide that. Speak your mind, and the energy shall continue to rise. And thank you, dear Medic Man, for your heart meme. Bhurmbhuvasvaha tatsaviturvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yonah prachodayat. I'm glad you appreciate that explanation of Kundalini, dear I Am Princess Mom. Kundalini is very sensationalized. It's also very sensual, indeed. Yeah, it's very simple though. Where'd the music go? Yes, I want to continue watching. Well, I'm not watching, I'm listening. The great teacher of Ramdas, his guru, Neem Karoli Baba, which is an important day today, by the way, because Neem Karoli Baba is considered an avatar of Hanuman, a descension of Hanuman. But Neem Karoli Baba was always asked by Westerners, how do I raise Kundalini? How do I open my chakras? Because Westerners, we're obsessed with them. We're always obsessed with these esoteric energy centers, and we want to figure out how to work them. But he had a beautiful way of answering them. He said so simply, 3 things every time. It would always be the same 3 things. Feed people, love people, serve people. And if you didn't know any better, you might think he was dismissing your question. Feed people, love people, serve people. No, that's baby stuff. I want to get to the good stuff. I want to get to Kundalini and chakra work. Actually, he's giving you the ultimate answer. Serving people, loving people, feeding people. That's not what you do in preparation. Everything you do in life prepares you for that. For serving people, loving people, feeding people. Why? Because your Kundalini is your dormant feminine aspect. And what greater form of the feminine is there than the mother? And it is the mother who loves, who serves, who feeds. If we can become more motherly, our Kundalini will rise and rise and rise and rise and rise, and there will be no shortage of that. I was very grateful to receive your email, dear Eva Nora. I hope you received my reply in return. Thank you, dear Jen Garden, for your donut. Jaya Neem Karoli Baba. And dear Usha Priyaji, thank you for your hanging lights. And your heart, your hand heart. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. You're very welcome, dear Jen Garden. And welcome, dear Albras. We want a drive-through awakening. That's funny, I am Princess Mom. I thought I wanted one too, but now I want to take my sweet time. I want to awaken as slowly and deliciously as possible, savoring each little step. Because it's the journey, not the destination. I'll happily take the scenic route up the mountain. Thank you, Eva Nora, for your 10 roses. Jaya Hanuman. And dear Katie, thank you for your finger heart. Radhe Krishna. And thank you, Tyler, for your heart mate. Radhe Shyam. And dear Jen Garden, thank you for the donut. Hare Rama. Dear Knuckles, thank you for the gold medal. You are first in my heart, however. Om Namah Karlim Ambita Me Shrim Nadita Me Hrim Devita Me Alm Sarasvatyai Swaha. I'm glad we relate in that, dear I am Princess Mom. I like that, Raven. Feed people, love people, serve people. The ultimate corporate slogan, if only. I love that. Thank you, Tyler, for another rose. Radhe, Radhe. Of course, dear Evanora. I always go through all my messages. Thank you, dear Medic Man. Freya, you have to work tomorrow and you get to see all your sharks. You miss so much your babies. You work with sharks? Just casually drop in the coolest fact there is. That you get to work with sharks. Oh, I love that. Did you know, you probably do if you work with sharks, that sharks have been a species longer than the rings of Saturn have existed. That when the first sharks were swimming around the ocean, Saturn wasn't nearly as cool. Saturn was unmarried. And then Saturn got married, and the sharks got to participate in the wedding. Sharks are older than 200 million years old or something like that, and the rings of Saturn are less than that. They arose in the last 200 million years, which is relatively recent in terms of the billions of years that our solar system has existed. Thank you, dear Raven, for your pair of tiny nineties. Yippee! And your finger heart. Om Shailaputriyai Namah. Hajar, you share your biggest flex is that your name means shark in Swedish. That's amazing. Ugh. All sorts of fun shark facts from all of you today. That's great. And thank you, car guy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well said, dear Riri. We are driving through it, but we think we are the car. The headlights, the dashboard. Good analogies. Yeah, that shark fact is really true, dear Ninmax. Taylor, you wonder if the dinosaurs ever swam with them. Well, I mean, depending on your definition of dinosaur, absolutely. There are some dinosaurs that swam in the sea along with those sharks. I actually don't know the time span that the dinosaurs existed. I know it's a ridiculously huge time span over many different ages. Dinosaurs are so cool. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Hege, for your rose. Aham Brahmacharinyai Namah. You work with Shark, shares Michelle, and I'm in Microsoft Excel fighting for my life. You're funny. Mm-hmm. Dear Katie, you ask, will another person feel or know someone if you're thinking of them? Sometimes I've definitely experienced that. My mom used to say, still says, that if you get the hiccups, it's because someone's thinking about you. And the moment they cross your mind, the hiccups stop also. My mom said she used to get hiccups for hours and she'd be naming literally every single person she ever met in her life. John, Jerry, Hank, Timothy, Sharon, Karen, no, Grandma Carol, Diane, Jenny, no. I often get the hiccups here, but they go away immediately, so you guys must be thinking of me. But certainly a person is not limited to their body. But even if they were, quantum mechanics tells us that there is no true localization of any particle. The wave that creates the packet of energy we call particles extends throughout the whole of the universe, just exponentially decreases in terms of energy density. But there's no true place where you're not. That's why I get the hiccups, Michelle. You've been thinking of me. Ugh. Well, can you not do that? Oh my goodness. I get the hiccups so often. I guess the solution is I need to think of you more. Because if you're constantly causing me hiccups by thinking of me, and the solution to get rid of the hiccups is to think of you in return, I guess I'll just think of you in return. But then I might give you the hiccups if you're not thinking of me. Oh, we must find a balance. Quick, everyone think about Michelle. That's right, Raven. Hello, dear Hari. And hello, dear Hilda. And hello, Mariham. Thank you for sharing the live, dear Matrix. Welcome, dear Marcelinus. May I say something about daily mantras that I use, dear Matrix? I love filling my days with mantras. I have a little altar of different forms of the divine. I do a little mantra or multiple mantras for each of them. I do mantras for the water that I drink. I do mantras for the sun. I do mantras for the moon. I do mantras for the flowers. Mantras are such a sublime way of celebrating every little part of your life. In fact, we can even celebrate mantras with a mantra. We can do the mantra. Om Mantraya Namaha. There is a list that I haven't updated in a while, but it does have a good amount of the mantras I often use, and thanks to the gifts in these live streams. That list is found in the frequently asked questions document that's linked in the link tree in my bio. A section about what mantras I use. It's a great word. Sublime. Yeah. What's the mantra for mantra? Om Mantraya Namaha. You can make a mantra out of anything. An easy formula is to take the dative form, which is a certain grammatical case ending that means you're addressing to the object. Mantraya means to mantra, for mantra. Namaha means salutations. You can tack that on at the end and precede it with the pranava. Om Mantraya Namaha means salutations to mantra. Of course, dear Iron Princess, Mom. Katie, you closed your eyes, saw what your friend was doing, and you called her and asked. You were right. How? I love that. You are very connected. Yeah, that's called a Siddhi. That's a spiritual ability, and you are very blessed. And it will remain a blessing as long as you do it for good. But if you use it for bad, it quickly becomes a curse. So don't do that. Make sure you always use it for good. For selfless service, for checking in on your friends and loving them and being there for them. Always follow the yamas when using siddhis. Ahimsa, least harm. Satya, honesty, truthfulness. Asteya, non-taking what isn't offered. Brahmacharya, reserving your energy for higher spiritual pursuits still. And aparigraha, non-hoarding of any resources. Thank you, dear Knuckles, for your crystal dreams. Chandraghantaya Namaha. And someone with a Cyrillic name. Dear Chippendale, thank you for your heartbeat. Kushmandaya Namaha. And dear Hare, you ask, why is the Maha Mantra Hare Krishna? Why is the great mantra called the Hare Krishna mantra? Well, the truth is that there's actually many different Maha Mantras. Maha Mantra is more of a genre of mantras. Maha means great. The Maha Mantra for Krishna is Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I have to solve a one-piece puzzle to prove that this is live. We have successfully proven it. The reason that one's great is because it was revealed by Brahma, the creator, to the sage Narada in the Kali Santarana Upanishad. Brahma himself said there is no other mantra greater than the 16 names of Lord Narayan. Yeah. But there are other Maha Mantras for different deities and different traditions. That one is certainly the Maha Mantra for Krishna, however. Thank you, dear Ninmax. Take care. Salutations, dear Balthazar. You thank me so much for saying non-taking what isn't offered over calling that stealing, shares Riri. I think there's a lot better translations for the yamas. I'm glad you like that one. Yeah. Like, it's not non-violence. It's least harm. It's not celibacy, it's holding space for higher things. And it's not non-possession. It's non-hoarding of resources that deserve to be shared. You cannot get cozy. What on earth, shares Freya? Have you tried spinning around 3 times like a cat? You know when they want to lay down somewhere, they go 1, 2, 3, now I lay. Hello, dear Jay. You ask, what is a thought described as by any mention of it that strikes you? What is the question? What is a thought described as by any mention of it that strikes you? Does anyone else get that? What is a thought described as by any mention of it that strikes you? I feel like I've lost my ability to understand English. If there's a way you can rephrase that, I'd be happy to explore that with you. Dear Brian, you ask, what music do I like? I like to listen to all of you. You are music to my ears. And that's true. Yeah, it's very true, Riri. No, the yamas are not used to shame, that's for sure. But to inspire. Dear Katie, you share, when you're listening and watching Reiki healing videos, why can you heal frequencies when he moves hands? How does that work? How does the moving of hands or frequencies be healing in Reiki? It's attention. The hand moving around shows you that I am consciously giving you my attention. And because it's slow and rhythmic, it's a continual and calm form of admiration, a form of love, a form of giving awareness. You know, if I didn't have my hands up and I wasn't doing anything, how would you know that my awareness was still on you, that I was giving you my love? With the hand moving, that's a symbol of continual transmission. That symbol carries the meaning, and the meaning is what heals. Similarly, frequencies also carry that by the explicit intention of carrying a tune, carrying a kind of emotion with each tune, and the explicit playing of that music for you as the listener. I should do a TikTok on alternative approach to yamas. That's a great idea, dear. Behold my pipe dream. I always forget I have the ability to make videos. Yeah. Ruri, you share, he's asking me to describe thought however I wish. I can do that. Thought is the most subtle form of consciousness. Nothing exists without thought. Everything that you see was once a thought, either in someone's mind or in the mind of the Creator. The only way to describe thought is really by what it's not. It's not something you can touch, but you can feel it in another way. It's not something you can see, but you can visualize it in another way. It's not something you can hear, but you can listen to them in another way. They are an inner sense. We have outer senses, like our sense of sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste. And we also have inner senses, and thought is one of the inner senses, meaning that it does exist on a different plane of reality. It is not made up of physical energy, but it does take advantage of the physical world to become expressed. For example, you can look at someone's brain under very carefully calibrated scientific instruments, and you can see a thought become expressed through the firing of neurons. But just like the wind becoming realizable through its waving of the flag, we infer its existence based on the effect it has on the flag, otherwise we can't see it. So too, we infer the existence of thoughts based on the propagation of electrical impulses through the nervous system. But the thoughts themselves are part of another layer of our existence entirely. Not part of the physical plane, but part of the subtle plane or the astral plane. It is the most simple form of consciousness, a pure idea. Of course, dear Jay. Dear Balthazar, you ask for my thoughts on Norse mythology. Norse mythology is very deep, and it's one of the great ways that modern linguists use to discover the mythology of our ancestors, since Norse mythology, especially in places like Iceland, have been preserved so carefully. I wish I knew more about Norse mythology, but I do know that the name for Wednesday, the middle day of the week, comes from Norse mythology, specifically Odin, or more accurately pronounced, Weodin. Weodin becomes Wednesday over time. So that's one way in which Norse mythology is something we experience every week. We don't even realize one of our days of the week is dedicated to perhaps the most important form of the divine in Norse mythology. Thank you, dear dancing Aurora Borealis, for your trio of roses. Skandamathore Namaha. Dear Raven, you ask, can I share at least one or two mathematical relationships I find in Sanskrit? Absolutely, I'd love to. One of them is the structure of the sound space of Sanskrit. If you consider all of the sounds in Sanskrit, the unique sounds, the ones that aren't joined through combination of the base sounds, there are precisely 40 of them, specifically 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Why that number? Well, the 3 2s comes from each of the gunas, the qualities of energy that things can have in existence. Rajas, creation; sattva, preservation; and tamas, dissolution. When it comes to speech, those 3 binary dimensions correspond to aspiration, which is rajas, the breath, the breathy sounds; voicing, which is sattvic, the voiced sounds, and occlusion, the plosives, the restricted sounds that require bringing into contact one part of an organ of speech to the other. Then there are 5 places of articulation that those sounds can be made in, corresponding to the 5 elements. Akasha, space, the back of the throat. Vayu, air, the soft palate. Tejas, fire, the hard palate. Apas, water, the lips. And Prithvi, earth, in the teeth. So, 5 places that a sound can make, and 2 times 2 times 2, in other words, 3 different binary dimensions of qualities of sound, we get 40 unique sounds. If you analyze that structure, it is a 4-dimensional hypercube. What it is it's 5 hypercubes stacked on one another. Each hypercube representing all the different sounds you could make at any particular place of articulation. That is where I was able to make those dice. That you may have seen in a previous live stream, or you may have seen in the video I made about the gunas and the bhutas, the energies and the elements. That's my favorite mathematical connection. But another one that's so lovely, in my opinion, is the duality of the anuswara and the visarga. The inner resonance, which is often used to mark the subject of a sentence, and the outward expulsion, the visarga, which is often used to mark the object. The way our breath and resonance is a grammatical role in Sanskrit is so incredibly beautiful to me, that when the energies are flowing in, we are referring to ourself, and when the energies are flowing out, we are referring to what's in front of us. And the flow between the anuswaras and the visargas, the angs and the ahas, the inner and outer, there's a natural pranayama, there's a breath work that happens as we speak to one another, and we refer to each other back and forth, and the things in our environment and how they relate to us. That's all very mathematical. And thank you, dear Franklin, for your heart me and ice cream cone. Katyayanyay namaha. Oh, I didn't personally make those dice, dear Riri, but I had them commissioned as a special order. Yeah. I'm very blessed. I prayed to Saraswati for her to reveal the structure of Sanskrit, and lo and behold, the 4-dimensional shape of Sanskrit emerged, and I knew I had to break that down into something tactile and 3D. That 5-dimensional shape can break down into, the 4-dimensional shape, I keep saying 5, can break down into 5 different dice. I had to get that made, so I found someone on Etsy who was willing to make them for me. I'm very grateful for her. Dear Oscar, you had asked, how do you train your body to wake at a certain time? It's all about the intention before you go to sleep, called the sankalpa. Before you go to sleep, as you're falling asleep, you set that intention. I am going to rise at whatever time. And I truly believe that you will rise at that time. Whether you go back to sleep is another question. You have to want to wake up at that time also. Otherwise, you'll wake up and you'll go, nah, I'm going back to sleep. And then you wake up later and you go, oh, I didn't do it. But actually you did. You just went back to sleep. Okay, Katie, your question was, why can you hear the frequencies, even when muted, when he moves his hands? Sounds like another Siddhi you have, dear Katie. You sound very blessed. Oh, you're keeping us all humbled. May we all be as sensitive as you one day, dear Katie. Dear Riri, you were thinking about that day as you saw it cleared a lot of dirt ready for construction. I know what you mean. And welcome, dear Serenity. Yeah. But yeah, dear Katie, there's frequencies in everything. All of life is made on frequencies. And the fact that you can tune into those associations is proof of the powerful mind that you have. That is a gift and a tool, an instrument. Dear Frey, you're growing dragon fruit plants from a seed. I love that. Do I ever grow any plants? My mother has a wonderful garden that I help to take care of when she lets me. I did grow a tulasi plant last year, and I love taking care of her. That was such a blessing. It's said that Tulasi is a goddess. There are many forms of the divine in India, and one of them is the Tulasi plant. So it's a very sacred thing to take care of that plant. You're directly taking care of a goddess. Dear Enzo, you ask, would the source ever harm itself? The source cannot harm itself. The source is infinite. Harm means to take something away. How can you take something away from that which is infinite? No matter what you take away from the infinite, it's still infinite. So there's no loss from the source. Dear Transcendence, you ask, am I self-realized? Self-realization is a journey that we are all on together. And thank you for feeling the love, dear Ninka Sub. I'm on Vancouver Island. Yeah. And I love that addition, dear G. Yeah, from a neurological perspective, being able to listen to frequencies based on pure visual input. You hear them. Maybe a type of synesthesia. I like that. Is Tulasi basil, asks Taylor. It is related to basil. The Western name is holy basil, but don't you dare eat her. She's a medicine, but her duty in life is first and foremost to be a devotee of Vishnu. She lives for the purpose of having her leaves offered in devotion for Vishnu. If you offer your leaves to Vishnu, then maybe you can use her for medicinal purposes. But don't just pick off leaves and make a sandwich out of her willy-nilly. She is a goddess, and her leaves are her limbs. Dear Illuminate, you share you cried when you heard my sweet song to Holy Basil. Yes, there are mantras to take care of her. Yeah, a mantra for bowing down to her, a mantra for asking for permission to take her leaves or prune her, and a mantra for apologizing after you've taken the leaves off of her. Blessed to have you here, dear Transcendence. Yeah, there's always more realization. Remember, the beauty in the journey is not the destination, but that journey. And the journey never truly ends. It goes on forever. And why? Because realization is a process in each moment that unfolds as the infinitude of the self gets unveiled. And that infinite self, being infinite, can only ever reveal a finite portion of itself at any time. And I'm blessed to be able to go on that journey with all of you, slowly but surely. And thank you, dear Sea Flow, for your heart me. Kala Ratriyai Namah. And dear angel, thank you for your tiny, yippee. Dear Ninkasab, you ask, how can you be fully aware and then fully non-aware? You can't. No, awareness always remains. You can never lose awareness, because that is what you are. You can lose things to be aware of. For example, in sleep, you're not aware of anything, but you still have awareness. There's nothing in that awareness. So it seems like there's no awareness, because we only know that we're aware through being aware of other things. Hello, dear Adri. I am well, thank you. How are you? I'm glad you find that beautiful. I think it's so beautiful when we treat Mother Nature as truly a mother, a goddess. And hello, dear Inasoda. Beautiful Inasoda. You ask how to feel safe in your own body. Take care of your body. You are the safety that you provide to your body. The feeling of unsafety doesn't come from you. You are safe, but the body might not feel safe. So take care of the body. Ask yourself, are its sensations overwhelming for it right now? Is there too much to see today and you need some dark time? Spend time under the covers or close your eyes. Is it overwhelmed with what you've heard today? Maybe take some time to listen to your favorite music to calm you down, or listen to silence. Are there a lot of smells? Well, maybe go to a place that isn't so smelly, or maybe light some incense that's calming to your nose. Or if you've had a lot of strange tastes in your mouth today, maybe brush your teeth or eat something that tastes good. If you're feeling too hot or too cold, regulate your temperature. If the textures on your skin are too scratchy or too soft. Too soft is something that our skin can get overwhelmed by. Sometimes we need some hard tactile surfaces to, really feel that we are alive and not just suspended in something intangible. Allow your body to have the senses that are providing a comforting experience for it. Allow your body to feel safe. Tell it that it's not in danger. Embrace it. You can hug yourself. You can connect with the elements: earth, air, fire, water, and space. And unity will always be a continual realization, dear transcendence. Because this world will always have one more thing to unify in it. Isn't it true? There's always another person to help. There's always another problem to solve. There's always another part of you to bring into union with the rest of you. I love that. Infinite completion. Hello, dear Shakira. Yeah. Good to see you, dear Adri. You're building an office chair with me in the background. That's fun. Well, I hope I don't distract you. Am I a teacher? Asks Ninka. And what do I think about Osho? No, I'm no teacher. I'm a student. And I'm learning with all of you every day. Osho, controversial figure. Before Osho was known as Osho, he was Rajneesh Bhagwan. And he founded a spiritual community. And there's all sorts of controversies that happened within that community. But who am I to judge that? All I know is that if I ever meet someone that was affected by that community, then I believe them, I trust them, I offer them my love and support. But in the meantime, given what I've learned from Osho later in life, he has certainly provided me with lots of brilliant perspectives, and I've definitely increased in my wisdom hearing from him. And so I'm very blessed for that. But everyone's perspective is valid. I see the truth in Osho's teachings, and if anyone shares that harm happened to them in that community, well, we shall see the truth in their pain and validate their feelings and their experience also. You saw a documentary about him last week, dear Michelle. There's a couple of documentaries about him. Yeah, he's a very fascinating character. Dear Raven, you ask, in defense, at what point is it acceptable to use aggression? If it's a last resort, there are so many other possibilities before using aggression. You can try to walk away, you can try to ignore them, you can try to talk it out, you can try to seek help. And there are all sorts of different techniques you can use for any of those as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But even if it gets physical, I would say even then, try to hold them back, but not aggressively. It's not about hurting them in return. It's just about stopping them from hurting you. That means if you need to push them back, or if you need to grab their arm so that they're not hurting you, then you can do that. But the only way I think you'd need to hurt them is to get out of some lock. If they actually had their hands on you and you weren't able to push them away, so that in order for them to release their grip or something, you needed to bite them or something, then I understand that you need to do that in order to get away safely. But never should it turn to hurting them in return for the sake of hurting them. It's never about inflicting them the same harm that they're inflicting on you. Mm-hmm. And if you need to use aggression, let it be not physical aggression. Raise your voice if you have to, if you must. The best form of an aggression for a mother, for example, is to speak her mind clearly, to scare off her possible perpetrators of abuse for her children, maybe. But it should never be violent for the other person. Even if someone already used some violence on you, but you can still walk away, do that. Walk away. If someone hits you, but you still have the ability to leave the room unharmed after that point, do that. Don't throw a punch back. There's no point. Thank you, dear Hybrid Jen, for your septet of roses. Mahal Gauriai Namah. And dear Anazek, thank you for your heart me. Siddhi Datriyai Namah. Always take the high road. That's more powerful than anything you do physically in return in such a situation. I don't know, dear Riri. That might be Osho. Is he the one who tried setting up shop in Oregon or did a vow of silence later? Maybe, but I'm not exactly sure. Dear Malaysia, you had asked, what is the best way I would deal with being overwhelmed, physically or emotionally? Well, for me, it's often the same thing, because I feel my emotions very physically. If I'm overwhelmed, I try to understimulate. I give myself space and time to process. That can be as simple as climbing in bed and just laying there, or going for a walk to clear my mind, doing some breath work, breathing exercises. All of these things can help you understimulate. Hello, dear Anazak. And thank you, dear Carrie Lo, for your heart me. Mitraya Namaha. Hello, Carrie Lo. Of course, dear Malaysia. Yeah, simple practices work best. Keep it simple. If you're overwhelmed, you got a lot going on, go somewhere where there's less going on, if you can. If you can't, do that mentally. Close your eyes and visualize your happy place. Take a walk through a park or climb a mountain, see the view, smell fresh ocean air. Visualizations like that can be very helpful too. And thank you for the likes, dear user 950. Now, I would love to ask you all my question of the day today. Today my question of the day is, what is the symbolism of things being subtle? What does that invoke in you? The Sanskrit word sukshma, subtle. I think it's one of my favorite words, subtle. But what is the symbolism of subtlety? What does that invoke in you? What feelings does the word subtle and its meaning create for you? This is a subtle question, I realize. And so if you need to take time, please do. Do know that there's no wrong answer. This is a subjective question. Subtle things are screaming for your attention. I love that, Riri. Yeah. It's true. The quiet ones deserve our ears the most. Yeah. Absolutely, dear Europa. Good to have a balance in the divine masculine and feminine. Dear Shakira, you share, it invokes humbleness and humility. Yeah, being subtle ourselves means being humble. I love that. Those are two beautiful answers already, and you're so quick with it. Thank you, dear Riri and Shakira. Subtle. Hello, dear Artie. Dear Malaysia, you find sometimes it's hard to establish meetings when subtle, as everyone takes things differently. For example, you prefer a doctor to be blunt than subtle. Yes, I understand that. Yeah, that's a great answer. There are certainly places and times for being subtle, and there are places and times for being blunt. And thank you, dear Artie, for your team cheers and heart me. Ravaye Namaha. And dear Carrie Lou, thank you for your level up sparks. Som Suryaya Namaha. Dear Hajar, you share subtlety is like the polyphonic hushing of an ocean, or like a layer under a layer, or layers under layers. That's beautiful. That does make sense. Taylor, you share, when you are less likely to feel things fully, it is the subtleness that allows us to be grateful. Yeah, I feel that. You're so kind, dear Riri. Raven, you share subtlety can symbolize royalty, the gravity of small action with great consequence. That is profound. I love that. And hello, dear Tracy. And thank you for your likes, dear CA. Goo Lagoon. A good place in the SpongeBob universe. I loved going to the Goo Lagoon in SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. A favorite video game of mine. I concur, dear I Am Princess Mom. Such great answers, everyone. You're not kind, shares Riri. I'm just perceiving it as so. You are simply being. Well, you are simply kind in your being, dear Riri. Comes naturally to you then. Mr. No One, you share subtle is difficult to describe, or clever and indirect methods to achieve. Yeah. Things that are subtle do require clever and indirect methods to achieve. And thank you, dear Michelle Linda. Hello, the chosen angel warrior from Denmark. Welcome. Oh, welcome, dear Luna. Subtle is something that's not instant, shares Kaido. Yeah. This is complementary to our last question of the day, I'm realizing. And welcome, dear Night Stixer. Thank you, the chosen angel warrior. We live in a video game, shares Kaisa. So hard. It can be difficult, the game we play. But the more we play, the greater our skill set is. And the best games are always the challenging ones. That's funny, Michelle. Kindness is all there is, shares Ruri, so it comes easily to all of us. I love that. Hello, dear Odin. And thank you, dear Egg, for your rose. Bhanave Namaha. This game is wonderful. This is real learning. I love that, the chosen angel. Dear Gabriel, you share, subtlety is not part of your conscious experience, but you think analytical nuance is. I like that parallel. Analytical nuance. It's a great term. Dear Taylor, you share, the movie called Wild Robot shows a lot of kindness. Oh, I have to see it. Dear Soaps, you ask, am I a Sanatani? A Sanatani? Someone who practices the Sanatana Dharma? We all do, whether we realize it or not. As the word Sanatana means eternal. And Dharma in this context means the way of life. The eternal way of life is something that we all are on. That's beautiful, the chosen angel. You love learning people to see the real them in this world. Love and light to all. Thank you. Dear Gabriel, you share you can focus on your breath easier, but you get uncomfy and don't want to hold it very long. You should anyway, because you engage in too much of what you want. One way to make breath work more comfortable is to do yoga. The purpose of asana yoga is to aid in having a body that has more energetic space in it. Not just simple stretches as a health and wellness exercise, but a spiritual thing to do. Your body is your field for your spiritual experiences. You experience things through it, within it also. Simple yoga asanas can help you immensely in your pranayama, which is a limb of yoga that is based on asana yoga. You are made of love. I love that. We are made of love. Oh wow, that's a lot of connections, dear Mr. Noah. Wow. A very interfaith book you've got. I love that. Dear Michelle, you share, subtlety invokes for you a sense of deep, gentle influence and invites mindfulness. I love that. And thank you, Mina. Mena. If you have a preferred pronunciation, let me know. You meditate in nature and hug trees as well. I love that, the chosen angel warrior. It invites mindfulness of beauty in small details. I love that, Michelle. Adri, you ask, why do I wear orange? I love orange. It's been my favorite color since I was a child. I've had many favorite colors since then, and it often changes. All the colors are my favorite in different ways. But orange is very spiritual, symbolizing the fire of purification, the rising sun of new beginnings, and the setting sun of releasing the old. I love those associations. I find this funny when this happens. I ask someone how to pronounce their name and they just spell it the same way that I'm reading it. I can see that your name is spelled M-E-N-A. Dear Mena or Mina or Mena. But which one of those pronunciations fits the spelling of your name? Is it number 1, Mina, number 2, Mena, or number 3, Mena? Number 1, Mina, number 2, Mena, or number 3, Mena? It's number 1, Mina. Okay, good to know. Thank you. Thank you. David Brown, you want me to pick a number between 1 and 10, and I won't tell you, but you will guess it. Okay, I've picked a number between 1 and 10, and I won't tell you. Now it's time for you to guess it. You love green right now, dear Adri. I love green. Dear Dawn, you share, but sometimes it makes you sad that you can't share it with others. Was there another comment that didn't come through? That was the precursor to that comment, dear Dawn. Hello, dear Evanora. Oh, I'm happy that my email resonated deeply with you. I'm grateful that I could be of service. Say Hajnalka. Hajnalka. This is your name, and it means morning glory. Hajnalka. If I can pronounce that in a preferred way, you let me know too. Dear? How do I say your name without swearing? I'll just call you Period. Dear Period. You share when something is subtle, you focus more on the spirit of it. Yeah, that's an excellent answer. I love that. It's Hungarian. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, the Chosen Angel Warrior. No, the number I'm thinking of is not 7. Yes, there's a sock on the microphone. Deep blue is your color, dear Kaisa, but all the colors. Yes. There's so much shadow work you've got to do when you get home from vacation. Got to get the journal out. Your vacation is also a kind of shadow work. Vacation can be deeply healing for what's hidden in the shadows. For when we go to these new places, so much of what's old within us may come out to the surface. Dear user Melinda Lee, you ask for any suggestions to help quit smoking. I haven't quit smoking myself because I never started smoking. But I did start vaping when I was a young teenager and continued up until a few years ago. And then I stopped. And I stopped after affirming that my happiness was not found in this nicotine. My happiness does not come from nicotine. And so I asked myself, where does my happiness come from? It comes from the divine. It comes from connecting with Source. It comes from serving others. It comes from being part of my family. It comes from being healthy. It comes from working on myself. So I continued to say that to myself. My happiness does not come from this substance. My happiness comes from the divine, etc. And I was able to quit. I handed my vape to my father. I said, you hold on to this. And don't give it back to me. And I never even asked. I had some hard moments, but they were just moments. They passed. You don't have to quit for the rest of your life. You just have to quit in this moment. And then when the next moment comes, then you can ask yourself again, can I quit in this moment? Yeah. And then a time will arise where you don't even need to ask that question anymore, because the urge doesn't arise, or you're able to quickly move on to some other feeling. Dear you share that it's a bit sad that you are lonely on the spiritual path, but you can't even feel the loneliness. Do I understand? I don't know about you, but I feel connected with everyone else's spiritual journey. How is that lonely? That's the most communal thing there is. The journey back to all of ourselves, our source that we all share. Together we are one in that embrace. Dear Gabriel, you share you've had painful experiences that required you to practice radical acceptance. It was eye-opening, but your limits became obvious, and you're still excited to be doing sadhana, but you still get wrapped up in your thoughts. Long way to go, but you're also exactly where you need to, somehow. Thank you for sharing that. What a beautiful reflection. I'm happy that radical acceptance has been helpful for you, and you've even applied radical acceptance to the exceptions of your own radical acceptance. You accept that there are going to be times where you have difficulty accepting things, and that's a meta way out. I almost pronounced your name right, but now say Holdni. Oh my, I don't even know how to pronounce that letter. The O with the line through it. And is the J pronounced more like a palatal semi-vowel? Ya. Or is it pronounced more like a palatal plosive? Ja. Number 1, ya. Or number 2, ja. Hoini, if it's number 1. Or hodni, number 2. Are we saying our names? If you want. I guess so. I do like to learn them, but I please forgive me if I forget. No, the number I was thinking of was not 3, dear Adri, but you're close. I'll tell you that much. You have cried every night on this vacation, shares Eva Nora. That's beautiful. That sounds like a proper vacation. That you're not hiding from the things that you're vacating away from. You are truly vacating into a part of yourself that needs some clearing out. And you're clearing all that out to make room for peace. I'm glad that resonated with you, dear user Melinda Lee. How long did I smoke? I vaped for... honestly, I think from the age of 14 to the age of 21. Something like that. That's a long time. That's 21... that's 7 years. Yeah. And I always use the highest amount of nicotine, which technically is even higher than cigarettes. So I do think having faith in the divine helped that miracle occur. That's for sure. They say nicotine is even more addictive than opioids, but I am a living example, and many other people here too are, that it's possible. Thank you everyone for exploring this question of the day, by the way. I see that we subtly transition to other topics out of that. I love that. For me, the sense of subtlety invokes a deep awareness of something. As you go from the material world to the spiritual world, you go from less and less gross forms to more and more subtle forms, closer to the source of your awareness. Just call you chosen one. Sounds good. Yeah. I like that, Ruri. Give the vape to dad, the hold, but give when you ask is a great motivator. You were thinking of that just now. That's a great idea. I like that. Can I try saying your name? Hajar. With a long A. Hajar. Or Hayar. No, the number I'm thinking of is not 2, dear Audrey. We do need to be alone if we want to learn. But you are never alone. Paradox. I love that, Kaisa. User 950. Her name is Alexia. Alexia. Alright, dear Alexia. I will try to remember that your name is Alexia. You have a 444 in your username. And 4s kind of look like A's. And there are 2 A's in your name, Alexia. It ends with an A and it begins with an A. I'll try to use that as my way to remember. You are Alexia. And the 4 in the middle crosses itself, just like the X crosses too. No, the number I'm thinking of is not 8, dear Riri. Thank you, dear Hajar. Good night, the chosen one. Nicholas, you think there's beauty in the subtlety of the signs that are all around us. I like that. Is it number 5 or 9? No, not 5 or 9. Dear Gabriel, you share eating sugar, preferably in fruit or honey or agave, helps curb the withdrawal well because it lowers your blood sugar. What a great practical tip, Gabriel. Yeah, I certainly engaged in good food. Good food can trigger that dopamine response, much like nicotine can. 4, final answer. No, number's not 4, dear Adri. Not 1, dear Io. There's a long A, but not that long. It's ancient Egyptian. Wow, it's beautiful, according to Google. Thank you for the likes on the live, dear Chica de los Gadgets. Not 7. Shall I tell you what the number is? Or shall I give you a hint? I'll give you a hint. No, not the number 10, Audrey. No, it's not 130. It's between 0 and 10. Is it a whole number? No, it's not a whole number. See, you got to specify these things. I'm going to assume you're including the whole continuum of numbers between 0 and 10. Not 0, not 6.7. He said 1 to 10. Yeah. There's infinitely many numbers between 1 and 10. Not 1.08. Not 2.38. Not 9. Not 4.2. You're close, Audrey, with 3.14, but not exactly. Not 0.5. Not 1.11. You're even closer, dear Michelle, with 3.14159265359, but not exactly. Not the golden ratio, but that's a good number, dear Audrey. Not 316, dear Michelle. Do I watch college football? Asked Jay Kimberlin. No, I'm not even sure what that is, other than I assume it's just football played by college students. So it's not pi. It is pi. Yeah. Pi was the number. But pi is not 3.14. Pi is not even 3.14159265339. Pi's decimal digits go on forever. So you just have to say pi. Or you give me the formula. The number that represents the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter in Euclidean space under an LP norm of 2. That's pi. Of unit diameter. And it is pi, dear Alex. Yeah. Riri answered correctly? Did Riri say pi? I don't see your comment, dear Riri. Oh my goodness. You did write pi. You wrote pi perfectly in the Greek letter too. But do you know what happened? It got translated. TikTok thought you were speaking in Greek, so it translated that to the word I. Is that I in Greek? Pi? That's funny. You said I. I am pi. Well, I am if I eat pie. I am what I eat. I don't just like math, Audrey. I love math. I'm glad you enjoyed that, dear user Sandy's Soulmates. I am feeling very calm, very light today, dear Big D. How are you? Dear Audrey, you sure you're not a big math fan? Yeah, you are. You're just not a calculation fan. And who is? I mean, who likes to do complex calculations? I mean, they made calculators for a reason. And that's what they teach us mostly in math class. They teach us how to calculate, how to be grunts of the workforce of computation. But you like infinity? You like shapes? You like discovering relationships between things? You are a fan of math. Right? Who likes being a calculator? Yeah. You love math, Audrey. Yes. You like fractals. You like higher dimensions. It's good math for you. The whole universe is math, right? But polynomial multiplication is so... Cheers, Raven. Dear Ding Dong, you ask, have I awakened? Well, I woke up this morning. I'm sure I'll go back to sleep tonight too. But you're asking about the dawn of spiritual wisdom, awakening unto the understanding that beyond this world of forms which comes and goes from an infinite source beyond our comprehension, there's a transcendental illumination happening in the form of eternal conscious awareness, that which has no form but yet begets all forms, awakening to the understanding that this is but a dream of the conscious creator itself, that you are but you have forgotten. That kind of awakening? No, I don't know. I don't know anything. I just got here. I'm just happy to be here. And I learn a little bit more every day with all of you. And thank you, dear Lizzie Cooper. Thank you for being here. That's understandable, dear Riri. Dear Lizzie Cooper, you ask, what do I think about Americans right now? I feel for them. They're going through a lot. There's a lot of room for love right now. I think they need a lot of love, and I'm happy to offer my love and support for those going through difficult times in America. Good evening, dear Cody Chain. Thank you, Isabella, for the rose and heart me that you sent. Pushni Namaha. And dear Anasek, thank you for your 20 roses. Haranya Garbhaya Namaha. Hello, the Kev Flock. Welcome. Thank you, Isa, for the rose you sent in addition. Marichaye Namaha. Yeah. Remember to be empathetic for yourself, dear Lizzie. Hold space for all the goodness within you too. Be receptive to the good as well, to the light, to the love. Even when it seems like you're surrounded by darkness, there is a light eternally shining within you. Be empathetic to that. Hold space for all of that wonder in you. Yeah. You feel guilty for being trapped in the system. That's not your fault. You have to use the only system that's available. It's not your fault for not having another option available for you right at this moment. But we can slowly begin to use the system to improve on itself and create new agencies of the system itself. And one day it'll be like the ship of Theseus. Every part is replaced and now it's something totally new. But at each part in the rebuilding process, you used what you had at the time. Recycling, upcycling, to make something stronger, sturdier, more fit to fare the seas. Thank you, dear Riri, for giving a subscription to Isa. That's very kind of you. I hope to be in service of you, dear Isa. Adityaya Namaha. Dear Gabriel, you ask, do you become happier as you gain more control of your internal environment? Your mind always has it often. Your mind... I think I understand the question. Although the grammar is a little confusing. Yeah, you gain You become happier as you gain more control of your internal environment. In other words, you realize that true control in life is not trying to control your outer environment. You let your outer environment reflect what you can control inside. For example, you can't make anyone else happier, but you can work on your own happiness and see how that becomes reflected in everyone that loves you. Yeah, the mind is a terrible master, but it's an excellent servant. If you can find a way to teach your mind to be a servant, oh, what a blissful life you will live. When we are obeying the commands of the mind, it's like side quests that lead nowhere, and you end up with less than what you had before. But when you give quests to your mind, chant this mantra, meditate on this, let go of that idea, think of something you love about another person. These quests bring you rewards in return. The mind comes to you with flowers and stones and water and fruit, and you get to enjoy the benefit of having a mind that gets to go on quests that you send it on. What makes you happiest? Asks Lizzie. When you are striving for the well-being of everyone, not because you feel like you have to, or else, but because you want to. When you want to make the world a better place, when it comes from not a need in the world, but a want in you, you will never run out of things to do. You will never run out of opportunities to express your creativity, your intelligence, your patience, your love. What a beautiful thing that is. You want to be a happy person. That's good, dear Gabriel. Your emotional weight pulls your significant other down, and you want to give her the version of yourself she deserves and needs. And that's how you make the pursuit of happiness truly selfless, when your own happiness becomes a gift to others. I love that. Mr. Noah, and you share, so tonight's full moon is of the divine feminine. The moon is of the divine feminine. Of the two great celestial objects in our skies, the sun and the moon represents the divine feminine, and the sun represents the divine masculine. They each have an important role to play on this earth, and life would not be the same without either one of them. When the moon is full, then yes, the divine feminine, symbolically, is the fullest. She's also the farthest away right now in her orbit in terms of full moons. Technically, she's coming close to us right now, but as far as full moons goes, this is the farthest full moon of the year, I believe. So symbolically, that means the divine feminine needs her space to shine tonight. That is true in males and females. It's tricky to distinguish our bodies from the forces of the feminine and masculine because our words for female and male have similar etymologies to masculine and feminine. It's not true in other languages. You don't hear the same sound, so it's easier to understand that the body of a man or woman does not have to imply exclusive masculinity or femininity. That for all of us, regardless of our bodies, the feminine within us needs her space to shine tonight. Whatever that means for you, it may be different for me. Thank you, Iza, for the pair of roses you sent. Savitri Namaha. Hello, dear Taco. I'm doing well today. Many forms of the divine in India are often born on full moons. So tonight's full moon is also dedicated to a specific form of the divine in India. Tonight's full moon is Chaitrapurnima, the full moon of the month, the lunar month known as Chaitra. That's the first lunar month of the lunar calendar, of the lunar year. And so the form of the divine that was born long ago on the first moon is known as Hanuman. And so we celebrate Hanuman's lunar birthday today. I love the concept of a lunar birthday. We normally celebrate solar birthdays. We celebrate the time under the sun that you were born every year. But that's different from your lunar birthday, because a lunar year and a solar year are different durations. They don't always line up. Many of the forms of the divine, we celebrate their lunar birthday, tonight especially. Good night, dear Izzat. Yes, please sleep. So we'll be ending with a mantra meditation for Hanuman. I think I'll tell you a short story about Hanuman for his birthday, and a little bit about him before we meditate. But we'll have an intermission of some poetry reading by the great Sufi mystic Rumi shortly. Thank you, Her Royal Highness Eni, for your 16 roses. Arkaya Namaha. And hello, dear Jarkadao. So let us transition into another episode of Ruminations. I think my engine needs a tune-up. If your engine sounds like that, it's probably not so good. No, you're here, dear G. Hello, dear Netherlock. Let's read some Rumi. This poem is called The Sound of Water in the Ears of the Thirsty. The real work belongs to someone who desires God and had severed themselves from every other work. The rest are like children who play together, or for these few short days until it gets dark. Or like someone who awakes and springs up still drowsy and then is lulled back to sleep by the suggestion of an evil nurse, "Go to sleep, my darling. I won't let anything disturb you." If you are wise, you yourself will tear up your slumber by the roots, like the thirsty person who heard the noise of water. God says to you, "I am the sound of water in the ears of the thirsty. I am rain falling from heaven. Spring up, my lover. Show some excitement. How can you hear the sound of water and then fall back asleep? That's the sound of water in the ears of the thirsty. Let's read a couple more, shall we? This poem's called The Ship Sunk in Love. Should love's heart rejoice unless I burn? For my heart is love's dwelling. If you will burn your house, burn it, love. Who will say it's not allowed? Burn this house thoroughly. The lover's house improves with fire. From now on I will make my burning my aim, for I am like the candle, burning only makes me brighter. Abandon sleep tonight, traverse for one night the region of the sleepless. Look upon these lovers who have become distraught, and like moths have died in union with the one beloved. Look upon this ship of God's creatures, and see how it is sunk with love. Lastly, this poem is called Everyone is Dying. Everyone in the world, whether man or woman, is dying and continually passing through the agony of death. Regard their words as the final injunctions which a parent gives their child. In this way, consideration and compassion may grow in your heart, and the root of hatred and jealousy may be cut away. Look upon your kinspeople with that intention, that your heart may burn with pity for their death agony. Everything that is coming will come, so consider it to have already arrived. Consider your friend to be already in the throes of death, losing their life. If selfish motives prevent you from this insight, cast them from your heart, and if you cannot cast them out, don't stand inertly in incapacity. Know that with everyone who feels incapable, there is a goodly incapacitator. Incapacity is a chain laid upon you. You must open your eye to behold the one who lays the chain. These are powerful. Thank you for listening. That was the sound of water in the ears of the thirsty. I'm pretty thirsty right now. The ship sunk in love. I hope my ship is sinking. And everyone is dying. I hope to remember that everyone I meet, that interaction may be the last time in that form. I should not take that for granted. Thank you for listening. We're getting kind of close to the end of this book now. Some really beautiful poems at the end of this book. I'm so delighted I could listen with you as we read. If that invited any insights or curiosities or reflections, you're always welcome to share them. But again, thank you for listening with me in another episode of Ruminations. You don't want Rumi to end, shares G. Me neither. Yeah. But we're going to have another poetry book after we finish Rumi. The beloved Riri has, if I'm not mistaken, has ordered another poetry book for us from one of the content creators on TikTok. Maybe Riri, if you want to share more about that, you can. I very much look forward to that. And it just arrived today. Perfect timing. Yes, you love Rumi. Made you want to drink. Yeah. I am thirsty. I'm going to take a drink of this. This was the prasadam water that I offered to Hanuman today for his birthday. Water always tastes better when you first offer it to the divine. Yeah. Thank you for listening, Anazak. I'm sorry that your texts are being filtered, dear G. And you were drinking water as we were reading. Well, many aquatic references whilst we read. It's perfect for you. I'm glad you're hydrating, dear Her Royal Highness Eni. So let me tell you a little bit more about Hanuman Jayanti, the birthday celebrations of Hanuman, who Hanuman is, how he got the name, and what he represents. Adri, you love the Ramayana, especially the part when Hanuman opens his chest, so moving. That's a great story too. Yeah. And good night, dear Kai-san. So Hanuman, let's talk about his name. What is Hanuman? Hanuman is not a very beautiful word. It's actually kind of gross. It means the one with a dislocated jaw. Hanu is jaw in Sanskrit. Hanuman is a disfigured jaw. Why on earth would a form of the divine be called that? Well, the story is actually pretty cute. And he gets his jaw back at the end, thankfully. He's quite the character. So Hanuman is of a mystical race of monkeys that is said to have lived in previous ages. And when he was a kid, he woke up one morning, and because he's a primate, primates love fruit, he looked at the sun rising over the horizon, and all he could think was, mango, mango, giant mango. Oh my God, I'm hungry. I want to eat that mango. So Hanuman leapt into the sky, trying to wrap his jaws around the sun because he thought it was a giant godly mango. This is true. Indra, the god of thunder and lightning, was like, no, you can't do that. And so he sent out a thunderbolt to stop him, and it ended up hitting his jaw. And it's at that point in the story he gets the name Hanuman, the one with the dislocated jaw. And so the thunderbolt hits him, and he falls unconscious back to the earth. Ooh, splat! And Vayu, the wind god, who is also the father of Hanuman, is absolutely distraught and threatens to take everyone's breath away permanently and starts withdrawing all the air out of the world. So feeling their breath leaving them, all of the Devata, the divine beings, they quickly go and appeal to Vayu. Oh, no, you don't. Please, what can we do to make this right? So Brahma says, the creator, I will give Hanuman invincibility. He will be one of the immortal beings. Shiva, the destroyer, says, I will give Hanuman fear or freedom from fear, so that he will always have courage. And Surya, the sun god, says, I will gladly instruct Hanuman in the secrets of the Vedas, in the knowledge of the revelations. With such boons from the gods, Hanuman arose, happy, healthy. In fact, he couldn't be healthier. He's now invincible. And he ended up being very happy to learn under the sun god, taking up his tutelage. But the sun god admitted, I am always moving. How will you catch up to me so we can continue these teachings? And Hanuman said, if you are always moving, then I will always be moving backwards so that I am ever in your sun, your sunlight. And it is said, from that backwards leaping, that motions of chasing the sun so that it never sets, those leaps and falls, those surrenders, the rise, the motion of Hanuman as he learns the Vedas under the sun is where we get Surya Namaskara. So we have to thank Hanuman for giving us sun salutations. So that's one of the things you can do today, is do your sun salutations. That is a way of honoring Hanuman. Hanuman is a devotee of Rama, the form of the divine as a king. So Hanuman loves when you use his birthday to give love to Rama as well. Hanuman is your last name. I love that, dear Debbie. Hanuman is such a devotee of Rama that he's always chanting his name. In fact, if you just listen to his skin cells, it's said that every pore in his skin emanates the name Rama, Rama, Rama. And when he's not chanting, he will click his fingers together if he's yawning or his mouth is otherwise occupied, eating a mango, for example. Each click represents a chanting of his Ishtadeva, his personal favorite form of the divine, Rama. So that's a little bit about Hanuman. And hello, dear AOS. I am well, thank you. How are you? There are some other things you could do on his birthday. For example, fast. I have decided to fast today. Obviously, I'm still drinking water. And I'll have some tea as well as some sustenance. Actually, I ended up fasting for most of yesterday because I learned that Chaturdashi is a good day for fasting. So I'm still drinking tea today and taking my vitamins because I've incidentally gone on a 2-day fast today. But I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow isn't a holiday to fast on, thankfully. And that's a voluntary thing, just if you want to. Yeah, I feel very light from it. I do enjoy the feeling. Ritual fasts are super powerful. Yes, and you're doing quite well. I'm happy to hear that. Your pores leak out Ivysaur, the best Pokemon. Oh, that's sweet, dear Riri. Hello, dear Marlin. Another thing you can do is you can offer puja, flowers and water, pushpam and jalam to Hanuman, which I did on behalf of all of you today. In the Telegram group chat, I gathered up some flowers and I threw some on him. And of course, I had to offer a banana, because he's a monkey, and a mango for the story. You can pray to him to increase in your bhakti and shakti. Bhakti is your loving devotion, and Shakti is your feminine power, your radiance, your ability, your confidence. All of that's included in Shakti. Hanuman is the epithet of Bhakti and Shakti. He's very much connected with his divine feminine. You're feeling tired, dear Marlon. Well, I pray that you rest as soon as you're able to. You've only had tea and biscuits today, Mr. Noah. There you go. You're on a tea and biscuits fast. That's right. His lunar birthday is today, dear Riri. And the last thing you can do if you want to is you can meditate on him, especially listen to mantras, chant the Hanuman Chalisa. I was able to do that today, which is so fun. Even if you don't know the, the Awadhi language, it's just such a rhythmic procession of sounds. I recommend everyone listen to the Hanuman Chalisa. It's said that even reciting the Hanuman Chalisa is a way to increase in your Siddhis, your spiritual abilities too. Is Hanuman the Hindu god in the Black Myth Wukong game? I have no idea. Is he in a video game? I gotta look that up. Yeah. I think so. Although that might be a combination of different mythologies. I know there is a different monkey king known as Sun Wukong, I believe. They may have arisen from the same mythical character though, because, many cultures share their mythology. Very cool. Hanuman would definitely be elated to be in a video game. He definitely has a spirit of play to him, being part of the Leela. Alright, without further ado, we'll be ending our live stream with a great Bija Mantra meditation for Hanuman for his birthday. Tonight's mantra for Hanuman Jayanti goes like this. Om Ham Hanumate Ruduratmakaya Hum Bhat Swaha. There's some good bijas in there. We've got the bija the bija the bija Hum, the bija Bhat, and the bija Swaha. Of these, I can tell you a little bit about them. Om, of course, is the pranava, the cosmic sound. Hum is the bija of Shiva, one of his bijas, since Hanuman is regarded as an avatar, a descension of Shiva. And it's actually in the mantra as well. Rudra is a name for Shiva too. Specifically, we're saying to Hanuman, the essence of Rudra. Bhat is Hanuman's specific bija. Swaha is a bija of renunciation, of letting go, of surrendering, of offering up. And Hum, you've probably heard a similar bija at the end of Om Mani Padme Hum. Although this one has a short vowel, but it has a similar meaning of invoking protection, especially from forms of Shiva. I've added some pronunciation pointers for the International Alphabet of Sanskrit transliteration here. For example, the M with a dot under it at the end of some of the bijas is a nasalization, the anuswara. The highest place in the body that something can resonate is the nasal cavity. I think the only long vowel in here is just the ah in various places. In that bija, Bhat, the ph is not like an F sound. It's literally a breathy P. You just aspirate your P sound with more breath. Bhat. And at the end, you'll notice the dot below the T that indicates it's a little different too. You curl your tongue back to pronounce that. Bhat. So what ends up happening is you stick the bottom of your tongue to the hard palate. Bhat. That's just a great bija. It's so unique. I love that. One more time. Hum. Hanumate Rudratmakaya Hum Bhat Swaha. I will chant on this Rudraksha Mala. And its 108 beads will count out the repetitions for us so that we don't have to. Ham Hanumate Rudratmakaya Hum Bhat Swaha. Ham Hanumate Rudratmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya. Om Bhat Swaha. Om 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 Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Hum Bhat Swaha. Ham 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 Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Hum Bhat
Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Om Ham Hanumate Rudraatmakaya Om Bhat Swaha. Ham Hanumate Rudraratmakaya Hum Bhat Swaha. Ham Hanumate Rudraratmakaya Hum Bhat Swaha. Om 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 Hanumate Rudraratmakaya Hum Bhat Swaha.
Salutations to Hanuman, the essence of Rudra. Happy birthday! Jai Hanuman Jayanti. In a few moments of silence, may we meditate on your grace and feel the reverberations that linger from the many bijas and sacred sounds of your mantra. May we pray to you to receive the blessing that is Bhakti and Shakti, loving devotion and feminine energy. Thank you for meditating with us. Happy Hanuman Jayanti. That concludes our meditation, and with that our Sangha. So thank you very much today, everyone, for participating. Thank you, everyone. I'm so grateful I got a chance to meditate with you all. Thank you, Marlon. And thank you, Miss Charm. Happy birthday, Hanuman. I'm glad you liked that, Mr. Noah. You're very welcome, dear Dawn. Thank you to everyone for being here in the Sangha. You're very welcome, dear Michelle. Thank you, dear Yale. Much love, lovable eccentricity. Aw. It's nice to be in this moment with you too, dear Donzuela. That's great, Mr. Noah. Thank you to my lovely moderators who help keep the peace. If there's anything I can do to make this space more inclusive for you or anyone next time, please let me know. May I be a more humble host? Hold me accountable to that. May this live stream be an offering to the divinity within you. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya marityor mamritangamaya. Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hare Tat Sat.
Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to the light, from death to deathlessness. May there be peace in us. May there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. And thank you, dear Anasek. And thank you for all the love and light and peace, Mr. Noan. May we all reflect that together. Thank you, Jason, for your heart, me. Sadhyoja tam prapadyami, sadhyoja taya vai namo namah. Bhave bhave nati bhave, bhavasva mam bhavodbhavaya namah. Tonight there is somehow a strong positive energy. Of course. It is the full moon. It's the pink moon. Yes. Purnima. What are we listening to? Someone's speaking in the background. The Raga Shivaranjani. It's very beautiful. Sometimes I just let the YouTube autoplay, and whatever background music we end up on is meant to be.
So the Komal Ga makes it belong to the Kafi Phat, really. Yes. So what are the main notes? What are the basics of the rag?
Well, before we get an education into the main notes of the raga, we'll end the sangha there for now. The music was competing with me, chattering away. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to compete with music. All that can be told through music is truly where the world's wisdom may be found. So you lost an hour earlier on. You now feel like you received an extra hour back. Oh, how wonderful, Mr. Noah. Whether this is your afternoon, your morning, your night, your evening, whatever time it may be for you, may you all have a wonderful rest of your present moment. Namaste.